Welcome everyone to English Bloom. I'm your host.
And I'm your co-host. We are so excited for this journey into the English language.
Welcome back to English Bloom, the podcast. I'm Olivia Park, and with me, as always, is Liam Alvarez. Hi, Liam.
Hi, Olivia. Great to be here. Hi, everyone.
Today, we're talking about something many learners worry about: listening. Specifically, how to improve your English listening and how to become more disciplined about listening practice without turning it into a chore.
Yes, we want this episode to feel calm and practical. Small steps, steady habits, no shame. Right?
Right. And before we begin, if you like episodes like this, please subscribe to English Bloom. Leave a rating or share it with a friend who's learning English. It helps more than you know.
Totally. And quick note, our tone today is warm and gentle. We'll give concrete tools, stories, and a tiny plan you can try this week.
Let me start with a short story. A few years ago, I was on a crowded bus, headphones on, listening to an English podcast. I remember thinking, very clearly, what's everyone saying? I understood almost nothing and felt so small and stupid, actually. I almost pressed pause and gave up.
But years later, I host this podcast. The difference wasn't magic or talent. It was learning what listening actually is and building small, repeatable habits. That's the promise of today. Listening is trainable, and discipline can be gentle.
I love that. For many listeners, that feeling of being stupid is familiar. We want to normalize it and then show a path forward.
So first, what is listening really? People mix up hearing and listening a lot. Liam, how do you explain that difference?
Good question, Olivia. Hearing is an automatic physical process. Your ears detect sound. Listening is active. Your brain focuses, interprets, and makes meaning. So listening is an input processing task. Sounds to words, words to sentences, sentences to ideas.
Exactly. Think about being in a cafe where voices are everywhere. If you're not trying to understand, that's hearing, background noise. But if someone says your name across the room, suddenly you tune in. That's listening.
And for language learners, the process has parts. We can break listening into 5 manageable pieces: sound perception, word recognition, sentence processing, meaning and intention, and memory and prediction.
Let's unpack each briefly. Sound perception means recognizing phonemes, stress, intonation. Word recognition is mapping what you hear, like gonna, to the phrase going to. Sentence processing is following grammar and structure in real time. Meaning and intention is about what the speaker intends, emotion, attitude. Memory and prediction is remembering what was said moments ago and predicting what comes next.
When learners say, "My listening is bad," sometimes one of these pieces is weak, not all of them. For example, your ears might be fine, but your vocabulary is limited. Or your brain is translating everything and getting overloaded, or anxiety is blocking comprehension.
Yes, and that leads into common myths, because myths make people feel stuck. Let's correct a few gently. Myth number 1. Some people are just naturally good at listening.
Short answer, no. Research on habit formation suggests many abilities we call natural are actually the result of repeated practice. One study found habit automaticity takes on average about 66 days, though it varies widely. So listening skill grows with repetition and consistent context.
That statistic, about 66 days, helps me remember that improvement is a slow, normal process. It's not instant talent, it's practice. So if you feel like you were born without an ear, don't worry, your brain will adapt with exposure.
Myth 2. If I just listen a lot, I'll magically improve. Quantity helps, but quality matters. Passive listening, audio in the background while scrolling, won't give the same benefits as active, engaged listening.
Right. Active listening means focusing, pausing, repeating, shadowing, or using transcripts.
For example, listening with intention, like pausing after a sentence and saying it out loud, changes the brain's processing compared to background noise.
Myth 3. If I struggle to understand, it means I'm bad at English. Not true. Even native speakers struggle with unfamiliar accents, noisy environments, or fast technical language. Difficulty often signals a mismatch between the audio level and your current level, or environmental and emotional factors like fatigue or stress.
And myth 4, I need to understand 100%. This one is huge. In real conversations, people guess from context, ask for clarification, and ignore certain details. For extensive listening, aiming to catch about 70–80% of the content is a useful guideline. It's more about following the story than understanding every word.
So the mindset shift is aim for enough to follow the story, not perfect comprehension. That's freeing.
Now, let's talk about the 3 types of listening we recommend learners use: intensive, extensive, and interactive. Liam, give us a quick overview.
Intensive listening targets accuracy and detail. Think short clips, 10 seconds to 2 minutes, with frequent pausing and close focus on vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar. Techniques include dictation, shadowing, and working with transcripts.
Extensive listening focuses on fluency and comfort. Longer audio, 10 to 60 minutes, minimal pausing, and attention to overall meaning and rhythm. Good materials are learner-friendly podcasts, audiobooks, or stories you enjoy.
Interactive listening happens in real time. Conversations, language exchanges, voice chats. You not only process incoming speech, but also respond. It's crucial for real-world communication skills.
For disciplined practice, include all 3 over time. Early on, a mix of short, intensive practice plus enjoyable, extensive listening is a helpful balance.
Now let's move to the psychological side: attention, emotions, and pseudo-listening. These are often overlooked, but critical.
Yes, listening in a second language is heavy brain work. Decode sounds, map to words, build meaning. When it's too hard, the brain overloads and you zone out, feel sleepy, or miss big chunks.
Pseudo-listening. That's when you appear attentive but aren't processing. You nod, you smile, but later you remember nothing. For learners, that can look like playing an English video while thinking about a message you received.
I remember a student who would nod through a lecture and later confess she couldn't remember a single point. Once she understood pseudo-listening, she started doing 10-minute focused sessions and noticed better recall.
Emotions matter too. Anxiety, shame, boredom. Anxiety might make you fear missing something important. Shame can make you tell yourself you're stupid. Boredom happens when materials don't match your interests or level. Emotions are part of the listening process, not separate from it.
Exactly. Discipline isn't being hard on yourself. It's designing small, repeated routines that respect your emotions and energy. Let's talk about what discipline really means for listening.
Discipline here is not extreme willpower. It's designing your environment, building tiny routines, and continuing when motivation is low. This maps to the habit loop: cue, routine, reward.
Cue examples: after breakfast, during the commute, or after making coffee. Routine: 5 to 15 minutes of focused listening. Reward: a little feeling of pride, checking a box on a habit tracker, or a small treat.
A helpful study on habits shows the time to form automaticity varies. The average 66 days is a useful reminder. You might take 18 days or many months. The key is consistent context and repetition.
Let me tell you about Sarah, a composite learner. She works full-time and thought she had no time for English. She chose one simple, enjoyable podcast and listened 10 minutes after breakfast each weekday. At first, she missed days and listened distractedly. Then she put her headphones next to the coffee machine and created a paper chart on the fridge. After 4 to 6 weeks, she pressed play automatically and noticed small wins, recognizing phrases in movies, catching recurring words.
That story shows tiny disciplines win. Start small. 5 minutes is okay. Prepare materials in advance. Lower friction. Charged earbuds, playlist ready. Use temptation bundling. Pair listening with something you enjoy, like morning coffee or a walk.
And track progress visibly. A calendar with check marks or a simple note app works. Seeing your streak matters psychologically. It reinforces identity. You're the person who shows up.
Speaking of identity, telling yourself, I am becoming a good listener, is more powerful than I want to improve my listening. It shifts motivation from outcome to who you are becoming.
Let's get into practical techniques. Step-by-step methods listeners can use this week. First, narrow listening.
Narrow listening means focusing on one topic or one speaker for a while. Benefits, vocabulary, and style repeat, reducing cognitive load. Choose one series or host and listen to several episodes in a row. It reduces decision fatigue.
Next, slow phrase-by-phrase sessions, a step-by-step method. Select a 1 to 2 minute clip with transcript. First, listen for the main idea without text. Second listen, pause after each sentence and speak aloud what you understood. Check the transcript and highlight new or misheard words. Third listen, follow the text. Optional, shadow the speaker phrase by phrase.
This method helps your brain match sound to meaning. Computer-aided pronunciation training research shows that focused repetition and imitation improve sound perception and production. You don't need fancy software to use the same principle.
Also, listen for chunks, phrases like at the end of the day or you know what I mean. Fluent speakers use chunks more than isolated words. During practice, write down repeated phrases as units, not as separate words.
Try two-speed listening too. Use a slower playback speed, maybe 0.75 times, to catch linking and reductions. Then move to normal speed and push a little, 1.0 times or 1.25 times, to challenge your ear. But don't live in slow speed. It's a scaffold.
And borrow active listening habits from counseling. Withhold judgment, reflect and paraphrase, ask clarifying questions. For self-study, after a short audio, summarize aloud into your phone as if the speaker were there. That trains you to listen for meaning, not just words.
Okay, now for listeners who like structure, here's a sample 7-day plan for an intermediate learner. It's flexible. You can adapt it to busy lives. Day 1, intensive focus, phrase by phrase with transcript plus shadowing. Day 2, extensive enjoyment, 15-20 minutes of a podcast with minimal pausing. Day 3, mixed, narrow listening to a new episode of the same show, then summarize aloud. Day 4, interactive, language exchange or voice messages. Day 5, review, re-listen to earlier clips and notice improvement. Day 6, extensive, movie or TV episode, focus on story. Day 7, light and fun, songs or vlogs you like.
For absolute beginners or very busy people, a micro plan, 5 to 10 minutes per day, 3 days a week of 5-minute slower, level-appropriate listening, 2 days with a short, intensive exercise and transcript, and 2 days of background English during chores as extra, not main practice.
Protect the minimum set 5 minutes as sacred. It's the psychological trick that makes consistency possible.
We promised some case studies earlier, practical examples you might recognize. I'll share 3 quick ones. First, the student who gave up on listening. They tried fast TV with no subtitles, understood 10%, felt stupid, and quit. Their turning point, switching to slower learner podcasts, transcripts, and a 15-minute nightly routine alternating intensive and extensive practice. After 3 months, They understood more and felt less anxious in meetings.
Second, the background listener, university student who plays English videos all day but is distracted. The fix, create a distinction between focused listening, 10-20 minutes phone-free, and background exposure. Result, better retention and less guilt.
Third, the shy conversationalist. Good at tests, but not at real conversation. During conversations, anxiety spikes and ears turn off. They tried weekly language exchange and used active listening, repeating part of what the partner said and asking clarifying questions. Outcome? Conversations became easier. People liked talking to them more, and the pressure to speak perfectly decreased.
These stories show different entry points. Not everyone starts the same way, and that's okay.
Let's address some debates. First, just listen a lot versus structured practice. Some teachers favor massive input, just listen and read a lot. Others insist on drills and explicit practice. Balanced answer, both matter. For busy adults, disciplined structured listening is often more efficient and realistic than random exposure.
Second debate, multitasking while listening. Many of us listen during commutes or chores. Research on pseudo-listening suggests comprehension suffers when attention is split. So do multitask for light, extensive listening, but protect time for single-task focused listening each week.
Third debate, slowing audio versus real speed. Some say slow audio is fake, others say it helps. Balanced view, use slower speed as a bridge, then move gradually to natural speed.
We've talked about technique and debate. Let's bring this back to encouraging identity. Saying, I am becoming a person who really listens helps. Identity-based habits are powerful because small actions reinforce who you are.
And learning to listen in English becomes a life skill. It can make you a better friend, colleague, or partner. Better listening in another language often transfers to better listening in your native language, too.
Okay, Olivia, practical moment. If you're listening now, I want to invite you to pick one tiny action. Olivia, what should they pick?
Pick one. Today, after this episode, set a 5-minute listening cue. After breakfast or while making coffee. Choose one short clip or a 5 to 10 minute podcast episode you like, put your earbuds beside the kettle, and press play. That's it. That single micro action begins a habit.
Simple and doable. And a tiny planning tip, save a playlist of 5 ready-to-play clips so you don't waste decision energy deciding what to listen to.
Before we close, let's give listeners a few quick exercises they can do right now, like in the next 5 minutes. Liam, give one.
Exercise 1. Narrow listening seed. Pick a short 1 to 2 minute clip from a familiar podcast. Listen once without transcript, main idea only. Pause for 10 seconds, and then say aloud in English one sentence summarizing the main idea.
Exercise 2, phrase catch. Listen to the clip again for 1 minute. Pause after each sentence, repeat the sentence aloud, and notice any phrases you can write down as units. Don't worry about every word. Focus on chunks.
Exercise 3, identity prompt. Write in your Notes app, I am becoming a good listener. Under it, note one concrete ritual. Listen 10 minutes after breakfast, headphones next to kettle. Put a checkbox next to it.
Those small practices recalibrate attention and emotion. They shift you from passive to active. Okay, Liam, some listeners worry the progress will be slow. How do we help them stay patient?
Normalize slow progress. Remind them that habit research shows variations. Some form automaticity quickly, others slowly. Celebrate small wins. Understanding one new phrase. Enjoying a story without subtitles. Noticing less anxiety in a conversation. Those wins are proof you're moving forward.
Also, remember to be kind to yourself. Discipline is not punishment.
It's designing a system that supports you. Use rewards, visual trackers, small celebratory notes, or a quiet cup of tea after practice.
And when you miss a day, don't catastrophize. Missing a day is normal. The key is preserving the identity and returning the next day.
We promised resources briefly. We built our advice on research about active listening, pseudo-listening, and habit formation, things like the concept of active listening and the research on how habits form over time. If you want to read more, our show notes include links.
Yes, we'll include links to active listening and habit formation resources in the notes, and a short printable weekly plan you can adapt.
Before we sign off, a small exercise for long-term discipline. Choose a cue you do every day. Brush teeth, morning coffee, commute start. Attach a 5-minute listening routine to it for the next 30 days. That stable context will make the behavior more automatic.
And combine it with a reward. It can be as simple as checking a box on your phone or making a small note in a journal. The cue, routine, reward loop is simple but effective.
All right, let's end with a short recap. Listening is more than hearing. It's active, multi-part processing. Myths about natural ability or needing 100% comprehension hold people back. Use a mix of intensive, extensive, and interactive listening. Protect focus time, build small habits with cues and rewards, and be kind to yourself as emotions come up.
Pick one tiny action today, 5 to 10 minutes after a daily cue. Narrow your content, use phrase-by-phrase practice once in a while, shadow when you can, and gradually increase your comfort with real speed.
If you try one thing from this episode, make it the tiny ritual after a cue. Put your earbuds down, set a 5-minute alarm, press play, and notice what changes in a few weeks.
Before we go, Olivia, quick question. What's one phrase you want listeners to remember?
Small, loving repetition. That's my phrase. It captures the gentle discipline we want.
Mine is listen for meaning, not perfection. 2 short reminders to hold on to.
Thank you for spending this time with us. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe, rate, and share. And we'd love to hear what tiny habit you'll try this week. Send us a message or leave a comment.
Yes, tell us your cue and your 5-minute plan. We read messages and we're cheering for you.
One last note. You are not alone in feeling stuck. Listening is a life skill, and little habits build it. Be patient, be curious, and be kind. We'll meet you again next week with more slow, steady practice ideas.
Bye for now. And remember, even 5 minutes today matters. See you next time.
Goodbye.